I'm back to discuss Overguard again. Sorry it takes me so long to put this together, but I do also work full-time, and it's one of several hobbies. Okay, so on with the research. Just like in previous videos, this is the research video, which shows all of the work I do to test the stuff, and then I will do a discussion video afterwards. I'm also going to put my results in the end of the video, and then I'll discuss those a little bit. Okay, I also want to point out that there have been some changes that have been positive. DE has been listening to player feedback, and they did a few things. One of my biggest complaints was that a couple of their Eximus units, the Leech and Energy Leech, did not have casting animations. And my big whine was, hey, come on, if I'm supposed to be watching the game and responding to the game, then the game needs to be showing me things to respond to. And you know what? DE agreed, because they added casting animations to both of those enemy types. You know what? I'm really happy. That's fantastic. Thank you, DE. This helps keep, because let's be clear, the old Leech enemies were boring. The new thing that they have going with these like little energy balls that they're throwing around, this is teaching stay out of the bad mechanics that I want more Warframe players to know, so I'm happy with that all across the board for a number of reasons. Not only did DE add the casting animations, but they added line of sight restrictions, which was another thing that was no bueno. It didn't feel good when you were getting killed by things that weren't even in the same room as you that you couldn't see. So once again, DE, thank you very much for that change. That is very well appreciated. That does a lot to preserve the kind of interest and challenge of these enemies that you wanted us to experience, and that's really what I want. Is I want Eximus units to be interesting and not just pushovers, and I want them to be mechanically understandable. So giving them casting animations, giving them line of sight restrictions, both of these play into my complaints. They both respond to making them more understandable, and I really want to thank you. Thank you very much, DE. Okay, so objection to my coverage so far is that there is, quote, no secret formula for overcoming Eximus shields. Alright, well, let's test to see how different damage types work on Eximus shields and whether or not these really relate to the health types underneath. Here's Baza Prime. We're going to start with cold damage. I have balanced this all out so that I can compare this against each damage type with roughly the same DPS, and then also compared against a build that is just criticals, as well as a few other things that I'm going to test here later. Because I'm using such low damage values, I am using only level 25 enemies. This is not because level 25 enemies are an issue. This is because it would take too long for me to record all of this, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all 16 trials with 4 different enemies each, if I was going to have to do this at a reasonable level like 35 or 40. I'm not doing that, so we're doing this. Alright. Vapos Tech, Proto Shield. Seen here. Flesh, also see. Heavy Gunner, so that's going to be Ferrite Armor and Cloned Flesh. Ancient Disruptor, Fossilized. Corrupted Bombard Eximus. Alloy Armor and Cloned Flesh. So yeah, Cloned Flesh is a repeat, but we're getting Alloy and Ferrite this way, so these are the 4 that I'm going to test on. They've already been simulated, so let's go. Now we're doing viral. We'll do just toxin. Right. Let's do gas. How about corrosive? Do radiation. And electric. Let's see, is that right? Vital sense, point strike, hammer, shot. Yes. This does add some status chance, but all of my previous builds also had a status mod on them. This does actually give me more status chance, but 20% more. So this might also be a factor, but I'm going to live with that risk. Saw that viral seemed to work really well, so let's see if we can do more viral stuff. We are going to try and do the bare minimum of viral damage. There we go. This teeny tiny bit. And we're even going to lower our serration a bit so we can keep things around. It's going to put us at... The previous weapons were tested at 1,274.6 sustained DPS and 1,262.3 sustained DPS. This will be 1,293. So this will be slightly higher DPS. I can probably run the numbers later to correct for that, but it's very close. Whoops. Oh, can I not? Oh, shoot, I can't... Well, there'll be a quick edit here. Alright, little edit. We're back here. There's my little minor serration update. We're doing viral plus heat first. Now we'll do electric. Which, instead of these, we need to take out this duration. And we need Vital Sense and Point Strike. This does, once again, it's hard to keep these exactly. This is, instead of 1293.7, this will be 1306.4. I can correct these numbers in the actual statistics later. Let's see if viral damage works better with critical hits. I'd say that was a yes. Let's just try and maximize status effects instead of damage at all. We'll put back our partial serration. Whoops. Status chance. We want rifle aptitude. And then we want 2 dots of either rhyme or malignant. And here we have viral and status. No, whoops, actually, you know what? We're going to take serration off. Okay. So, with just these 5 mods, the sustained DPS estimate is 605.4. This doesn't matter how this is split up, that's fine. But we're going to do a lot more status chance than we were before. So, let's see what that does. Now, this should, if viral's not what's doing all my freaking damage, this should take twice as long. That didn't seem like twice as long. No. Well, that's interesting. Right, so the results. I've looked at these again a couple times. I'm going to try to sleep on it and see if I can make a better sense of it later, because some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't. Allegedly, everything I've been told about Overguard up until now has been that Overguard is a unique health pool that has no resistances or weaknesses of its own except for void damage. This is false. It does not contribute any additional weaknesses or strengths, but based on testing, it's very clear that it is somehow impacted by the armor underneath it. I mean, if we look at these numbers, strictly speaking, if it worked the way I had been led to believe, then each of these damages, like blast damage, should be the same value straight across. But it's not. Blast damage kills ancient fossilized health faster, and it killed the proto-shield protected unit slower. Why? Well, blast damage does do more damage against the fossilized health type. So it looks like that's what's happening there. Because here's the thing. Even though the base units have different amounts of health, all of them were the same level. So according to what we've been told about Overguard, all of them should have had the same size Overguard shield. It should have had the same amount of health in it. It should have been the same for everybody. So why wasn't it? And why was it so much harder to kill the proto-shield protected Vapos tech, even though that's not even the... Why did it take a whole extra second? I don't know. The Bombard took 2.44 seconds and had alloy armor, which has no weakness, or it doesn't have any vulnerability or resistance to blast damage. But ferrite armor, which the heavy gunner had, does have blast resistance, and it did take slightly longer for it to kill the heavy gunner. You can see situations like that throughout this entire thing. If it worked just like whatever the base unit's health is, that armor or whatever, that's what contributes its weaknesses and its vulnerabilities and strengths to, then when we look at this, you would expect that the lowest number, which is the fastest time to kill, would be in purple boxes, and the highest number would be in red boxes. Like that does happen with the Ancient mostly, except 2.6 is not the lowest number on there, even though Corrosive Damage technically should do more damage. Blast Damage killed it faster. Viral and critical hits seemed to do the most, or the fastest kills. On the Bombard, Viral again, 1.08, fastest. Next fastest would be like Gas. Why? Gas? Well, maybe because of cloned flesh, which has a vulnerability to gas. That's actually probably why Viral was as fast as it was, because it, in addition to the status proc being so good. But also notice that critical hits tended to be a faster way to kill things than status damage and status effects. So, or like on the combined elements on the bottom here, like when I did the Viral with the high status effect, the high status chance, that worked much faster than it should have. Based off the numbers I had, I did some math to correct for DPS to assume, okay, what if I was killing at this same speed, but at a higher DPS? Viral status effects are what's carrying the damage here, I think. I can still do more testing on Viral and status and DPS. And same for crits, too. So, high crit, I don't know why. That's the amount to which critical hits contribute to DPS was already factored into the numbers before I ran all of this stuff. So, the fact that critical hits increase DPS faster than just their DPS is weird. This leads to something a friend of mine suggested or noticed, that they think that it's the amount of damage per hit that you're doing, or possibly the weapon's rate of fire, that's being factored into another level of damage reduction. I think that level of that might be too far, but it certainly looks like when you do less damage but shoot more times, that you hurt Overguard less effectively than if you do more damage but fire fewer times, even if it's the same total amount of damage. And these numbers look like they might reflect that. I really don't know what's going on with this at this point. I'm going to have to sleep on this. I will do some more work, and then I will do a discussion video describing what I think I've figured out from this. But that's the whole video for now.